beautiful friends, and welcome back to my channel. This is Nova Gnome Creations, and I'm Nova, and I am so happy to see you. I hope you guys are doing awesome. I hope you had a great weekend. Hopefully you are rested and recharged for the week. Hopefully you guys are doing good, and I hope that you and your loved ones are taking care of the best that you can. So today I've got a little kind of walk through the past from small beginnings kind of thing, and it is a idea. Oh look, I even wrote from small beginnings on the back of it, of what to do with your first crochet project. So this was my very first crochet project. This was a granny square that I made when I first started crocheting. Now, if you've been around a little bit, you will have heard and possibly even seen of this granny square. But this is the beginning of my crochet journey right here, framed. And it's so bad. It is so bad. It's crazy to me. Like, just looking at this is so funny, but this was the very first thing I made. This is how I learned to crochet. So I've talked about it a little bit in the past, but in case you haven't seen, you know, any of the videos where I've talked about it, I learned how to crochet by making a granny square. So I got on YouTube, I searched every little thing that I needed. So I looked up a very beginner-friendly granny square tutorial. I'm pretty sure it was Hooked on Sunshine's Robin, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it was her video. I was thinking it could have been Jada and Stitches, but I think it was Hooked on Sunshine. Anyways, so what I did was I watched this video, but then if I needed any more info than what, you know, she was showing, which it was a beginner-friendly tutorial, I would stop and I would YouTube search whatever it was. So for example, if I was trying to make a magic circle and I needed more help with a magic circle, I would stop and YouTube search how to make a magic circle. Figure that out, go back to the other video and work on it. And I was on a car ride because we were moving back from Michigan down to Texas. We had been living up in Michigan for 4 years at that point, and we were coming back down to Texas. And so it was a really long car ride, and I thought, you know what, this is a good opportunity for me to try to learn to crochet. It was my first time trying to really learn to crochet. I had tried learning to knit several times in the past, and it just never clicked with me. I really struggled with it. I just could not get it down. And I was like, I had actually never heard of crochet before I bought like a how to crochet, like, you know, the boy how to crochet kits that you get at like the grocery store. They come with just some aluminum hooks, like a little pamphlet like book on how to crochet, maybe some, I think, basic notions, and that was it. So me armed with that and my phone, and I made, I want to say probably like a little stack of granny squares by the end of the car ride. They got gradually better, and they did get better. Like, the car ride was very, very long. Like, it was like a multi-day trip. So, you know, I'm not saying it was fast, but by the end of it, I could make a granny square. And I basically learned how to crochet in that car ride, and from there it just snowballed. So anyway about it, I love this granny square because I think it's so important to my crochet journey. This is where it all started. And this was back in 2021, by the way. So it's been 3 years. It was July 2021. So it's been about exactly 3 years. Wow, is that it? It feels like I've been crocheting forever now. Like, I just feel like it's in my blood at this point. It's been so important to my life. Ever since I learned how to crochet, crochet is like what I do. I crochet every single day. I crochet all the time. Like, I crochet so frequently. Currently, I'm actually playing video games a little bit and taking a little bit of a breather. But like, this has been the longest I've like really sunk down into a passion for crafting. Typically I am a multi-crafter. I'm like a chronic multi-crafter, you know, the whole starting a new craft, being absolutely obsessed with it, and then eventually like dropping it entirely. That is a lot of times what happens with my crafting, and then eventually I'll come back to it, but I'll be absolutely obsessed with it. I'll live and breathe it, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm done with this, and I'll move on. But crochet has been like a life-changing thing for me. I've made so many friends because of crochet. I have got you guys here, and like it's been because of my YouTube channel. It's been because of my crocheting and my YouTube channel, which is because of crocheting. So it's just, this is like a really big deal to me. So what I did was I went to the thrift store and I was looking for a frame. I knew I wanted to frame this granny square. So I was looking for like a plain wooden frame, and I think I paid 50 cents for this, and it is like a really nice solid wood frame. It was dusty when I got it. I cleaned it up, and it had never even been used. It was like a very old, you know, maybe came from like Family Dollar or something, but like 30 years ago, you know what I mean? I cleaned it up, and then this is what I did on the back. I wrote, from small beginnings, July 2021, my first time crocheting ever. This is the very first thing I made, a granny square, and then I put my little Novenum Creations. So all I did was, this is the backing that came with the frame, and then inside of here is actually a trimming from Happy Mail, so you guys might recognize it. But I took a trimming from some pretty Happy Mail paper. It was like a cardstock sort of paper, and then I cut it down to the size of the frame. I thought it would match the orange pretty well and look cute, and I love it. And then I flattened out my granny square in here and kind of sandwiched it in between, checked that I liked the way it looked, and then I went and I put the back on. So it's a really simple project. It's not something that's difficult, but you know, it's just taking that thing that you've been hanging on to forever because it means something to you, and making it into something, making it into like a little bit of a statement piece, making it into something that you can look at and remember, you know, not just tucked away in a drawer forgotten about, not just adding to the hoard of craft supplies and craft whips, you know, crochet whips that aren't finished. It gives it a purpose and puts it in a place where you can like really see it. So I have mine, it goes right there in that little opening, and I will pop up a picture so you can actually see like up close what it looks like, but I put it there, and I like the juxtaposition of this next to a more recent crochet project, and that one is not even like super recent, but like, you know, well, it is super recent, but like it's not like I didn't make it just now or anything. I made it last year sometime. But I love the like contrast of the first crochet project with all of its lumps and bumps and crazy not knowing what I was doing, and like a more refined type of square. Well, it's not technically a square, but like that's okay. But I love that. So here is it up close, by the way, in case you haven't seen it. So I'm pretty sure, I think, if I had to guess, I think this was probably the magic circle that I started with that should have been the center of my square. Is that not so funny, you guys? So funny. I just, and I like to learn this way. I really recommend learning how to make a granny square as your first crochet like project, as your learning thing, because sorry, for me, I don't want to sit there and make something that doesn't like feel like it has a point. So sitting there chaining, learning how to do a single crochet or a double crochet or whatever, and just like doing swatches and stuff, that's gonna feel like, I don't know, I'm gonna feel like I want to stop and make something, not just be learning a stitch over and over. Like as soon as I do that stitch, I'm like, okay, let's make something. And even if it comes out bad, you guys don't even know the satisfaction, and you might know, you probably know actually, the satisfaction I had when I made this. Was it wonky and 6 types of messed up? Absolutely. But it was a square. Like this is, you know, you can tell that this is supposed to be a square. You could tell it's supposed to be a granny square. So I still was proud because I made that. Like it showed to me that I could do this. I could crochet. I made this little square. And what I loved about it was these projects are small and you get instant satisfaction and gratification for finishing a project without having to finish a huge project. So then when I finished one square, I got to move on and start over. And each time I was doing it, I had to practice starting, which was I was doing a magic circle. I had to practice how to start my magic circle. I had to get back into the swing of, making it. So it was a good learning experience for me. And every time I made one, it was better. So it was exciting. I got that dopamine hit of finishing a project and seeing myself improving. So I really personally recommend starting with granny squares. You're going to right out the gate, learn how to make your magic circle or magic circle alternative if you prefer to do it a different way. You're going to learn how to do double crochets, you're going to learn how to chain, and you're going to learn how to look at what you're doing and kind of start to troubleshoot where you went wrong. You're going to learn how to do corners. You're going to learn how to kind of visually see what the stitches look like and stuff. And then from here, if you want to do a single crochet border on it, or, if you want to do a totally different project, that's fine, but you've got a little bit of a foundation. And personally, I think that starting working in the round is a great way to start too, because working in like rows just seems so easy and natural after you already know how to like crochet. I don't know. I feel like working in the round would be harder to switch from going by row crocheting to working in the round. If that makes sense, that's just a personal thing that I feel like is probably the case for me, that working in the round would have felt harder and like more scary if I had only been doing row by row. So I felt like once I learned how to do that and then I wanted to try working row by row, all I had to do was figure out how to crochet into a chain. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was my first crochet project. Let me know down below what your first crochet project is. What was your first crochet project and when did you start crocheting? I would love to know. But anyways, guys, if you've got like an old granny square, or, it could be anything. It could be a swatch. It could even be, if it's like a bigger item, you could do a shadow box, because you can put bigger items that aren't flat into a shadow box. But it's just a fun little way to, I don't know, to remind yourself where you started in your crochet journey, especially when you're, feeling like, I don't know, you need that little kick, you need that little inspiration, like, wow, I started there and look how far I've come, you know what I mean? Anyways, guys, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I will see you guys again real soon. I love you, and I hope that you have a beautiful week. See you guys again. We'll be right back.